One of the first songs I learned as a kid was Jesus Loves Me. And I'm sure for any of you who went to church, grew up in church, that was probably one of the first songs you learned as well. I remember as a child learning the words to this song and the melody and how it goes. But, I didn't really understand what this song said. What I just knew the words. And I remember asking my parents, "What does this mean?" As most kids do. Well, why? But what does it mean? And I remember my parents talking to me about Jesus. They talked to me about him being the Son of God, and they said he loved me. And even though a lot of those things didn't completely click in my brain, I figured it had to be true, right? My parents told me this, and they wouldn't lie to me. In fact, they even had me memorize a Bible verse, John 3:16. I could recite, "For God so loved the world that He gave His only begotten Son." And if you went to church, I'm sure you've learned that verse as well. I could recite it from memory. What did make sense to me, though, was that I was loved by my parents. At no point growing up did I feel or did I ever doubt that my parents loved me. They told me that. They showed me that. And I knew they loved me so much that they had my best interest at heart at all times. I knew they loved me so much that they would do whatever they could to keep me safe. And in some way, unconsciously, I guess, I kind of equated how my parents loved me and how Jesus loved me. A couple of years ago, I read the book by Jan Martel called Life of Pi. I'm sure some of you've read it. I know some of you've probably seen the movie. They made a movie of it not too long ago, well, several years ago now. But I enjoyed the book. But the one thing that stood out to me was when Pi, the main character in the book, remembers encountering Christianity for the first time. In fact, when Pi had been told the story of Jesus, he thinks to himself, humanity sins, but it's God's Son who pays the price. What a downright weird story. And then Pi goes on and asks for a different story. He says, "Tell me a different one that makes more sense." Because based on his knowledge of what gods and what heroes are like, it made no sense for God's Son to have to die. In his mind, it was a very counterintuitive way to save humanity. And in the book, the only explanation they gave Pi was, it was love. Jesus loves me. I've heard this all my life, as I'm sure many, if not most of you have. And it can be something that we take for granted. I would like to challenge us today to take Jesus loves me and look at it through new eyes. I would like to challenge us to not just talk about it or sing about it, but to show it. For somebody who may not have heard that Jesus loves them and who may not understand what that means, I pray that the best way that we can explain it to them is not through words, but through our love to them. As we listen to the song, it's a new take on the classic, Jesus Loves Me. I pray that you will be encouraged by the fact that Jesus does love you. I also pray that this love will overflow out of you to the people around you so that they may experience that Jesus loves them as well.
Let's sing. I was lost, I was in chains, the world had hold of me. My heart was stone, I was covered in shame when he came for me. I couldn't run from his presence. I couldn't run from his arms. Jesus, he loves me, he loves me, he is for me. Jesus, how can it be? He loves me, he is for me. Come on, let's sing. It was a fire deep in my soul. I'll never be the same. Stepped out of the dark and into the light when he called my name. I couldn't run from his presence. Couldn't run from his arms. Jesus, he loves me, he loves me, he is for me. Jesus, how can it be? He loves me, he is for me. He holds the stars and he holds my heart with healing hands that bear the scars. The rugged cross where he died for me, my only hope, my everything. Let's sing. Jesus, he loves me, he loves me, he is for me. Jesus, how can it be? He loves me, he is for